So Russo he's going to be the guy that's going to chronicle our journey, our story of building our business, changing the world.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, I think the really cool thing about that is how many people you'll inspire with that, because you guys are doing the work, and so many people who are discovering you probably say, oh man, this guy came out of nowhere. He's an overnight success story. And people say that about me too. I'm a 27-year overnight success story.
Right.
So and I'm still building, still evolving. So I think it's important for people to see that, yes, all these people that are saying, oh, push this red button and you're going to have instant results and you're going to get rich quick. It's all a bunch of crap. You got to do the work. These guys are doing the work. And I've seen your rise in the last number of years. But through hard work, not from luck, not from being at the right place at the right time, not from swallowing a magic pill, from actually doing the work. I can't even get you guys to go for Korean food with me every night. It's like, okay, once this trip, that's all you get. Once this trip, we're going for Korean food.
About eating Korean.
I want to go last night too. I want to go every night.
We could have gone last night. They were having a barbecue. You had barbecue.
We had a little. Yeah, we had. I have some of my team over there, so. We had a little barbecue and get together. But
I mean, are you talking about like this weekend or what? This weekend,
you're
what are you
flying out tomorrow morning, right?
Well, I did a mastermind a few days ago.
Yeah.
So
What was that for?
That was for entrepreneurs that are stuck, and actually it's really cool. I got one lady who owns a staging company in Phoenix, and we're gonna help her skyrocket. She just needs a little bit of direction, a little bit of capital, which I'm gonna put into her business, and we're just gonna crush.
So he's becoming the prophet.
Well, I've actually done that before. I don't watch TV, but I keep hearing people say that.
What's his name? Marcus Lemonis is an amazing guy. What I've seen of him, I mean, I've always heard about him.
Well, what I used to do is I used to look for failing companies and then I buy them and make them successful. And what I do is I never did the work. I brought in teams that were already experts in those fields. So I did a pub, and I brought in somebody who's an expert at pubs and restaurants. And I didn't do the work. I let my money do the work for me, so it was a passive income job for me. And I brought in people who knew how to do everything from start to finish. Took good care of them, made sure they were happy, and we made it successful. But now, I don't really want to take over more businesses. I'd rather help somebody who's struggling, and they're still, as long as they're still passionate about their business, and help them get their business to the next level, and not have me, put myself in there to advise them, put myself in my money in there if they're stuck financially. But sometimes all it takes in any business, all it takes quite often is just little tweaks. It doesn't have to be a big overhaul. Some businesses should have never been started in the first place. Those we can't help. But there's some that are great ideas. They've got all the right pieces, the right fundamentals, but they're just missing a piece here or a piece there. Quite often, it's, in her case, it's money and just, like I said, a little bit of direction, a little bit of, it's really just very, very minor tweaks to make that a seven-figure business.
So what kind of businesses can you not help? In other words, what is the missing ingredient if you look at somebody's business and like, they don't have this and I can't help that?
The biggest thing for that particular question is people build something more on an emotional reasons. It had no business sense in the first place, shouldn't have been a business, and somebody had this thing that excites them. So for example, the pub that I used to co-own, the person who owned it before me owned a printing company, and they made flyers and business cards and all that, and they were really, really good at that, but they liked hanging out in the pub, and they thought, oh, well, why don't I just buy a pub? Well, hanging out on this side of the pub and being behind the bar and in the kitchen and doing all the different, and doing the books and all the different things that are involved, it's not as glamorous when you're actually doing the work. And so they didn't really know how to run a pub. They didn't consult with anybody. They didn't bring in an expert like I did when I bought it. They just thought, oh, they watched too many episodes of Cheers, and they thought, if I build it, they will come. And the people didn't come. And so this person became a one-man show where, he was if you go in, he'd be the bartender, he'd go and grab the drink, and you order the pizza, he'd run to the kitchen and go get it for you. He was doing every position in that business. He was a solopreneur.
Right.
And when you own a pub, it's your alcohol, your food, it's a commodity. People can go down the street, get the exact same. Your beer doesn't taste any different than the beer at the pub down the street. Exactly the same. So it's all about relationships, the atmosphere you create. And when you're a one-person show running around like a headless chicken, that's not the type of environment people want when they go into a pub.
Amazing.
So it's not that we couldn't fix it, but he should have consulted with me before he hit rock bottom. It's that rock bottom thing again. Before you hit rock bottom, and say, hey, before I start, what can I do? Get your mentors before. The best time to get a roadmap is before you go on the road.
Before you're lost.
Before you're lost, so not when you're in the weeds. And so it was too late for him.
Yep.
Well, it wasn't too late, but his passion was gone. That's why it was too late. And he ran out of money. I could have gotten him injected money, given him some direction. But I think at that point he was just fed up, and he realized that, yeah, being the customer at a pub is a lot more fun than being the owner. He was done.
He was done.
If I were to go
so
to
you can't
him,
help that guy.
yeah, so if I were to go to him now, this is many, many years, like a dozen years ago, but if I were to go to him now and say, hey, listen, there's a really good deal on a pub. I remember you used to love pubs. I am pretty sure that's not his passion anymore. I haven't had any contact with him. I'm pretty sure that's not his passion anymore.
Right.
So once you lose your passion for what you do, and it's your passion project, you don't have the passion, you're pretty much done. Right, you're never going to love it again.
All right, so what else would be something missing that you're like, I can't fix it?
Most people, when they get started, they have unrealistic expectations as to how long it might take to get it off the ground, so they're underfunded. They don't think about that before they get started.
But you can fix funding.
Funding can be fixed.
But you can't fix.
Funding can be fixed. There's always more money out there.
Fixed? What are the things you're like, that can't be fixed, that you can't fix?
Almost anything can be fixed, but like I said, if you lose the passion, if you have the wrong mindset, if you're not coachable, because some people, they keep doing the same thing and they keep going downhill. It's just like if I would have kept, when I was in a wheelchair, if I would have kept eating what I was eating, there's no way that I'd be walking right now.
Right.
There's nothing I could have done and kept that same diet and so it was mindset, it was all my mind.
You had to be willing to change.
Because for those 20 years before I...
Change sucks.
From the time I had my first attack of gout, to the time I ended up in the wheelchair, it was 20 years. I suffered for 20 years on and off with this disease.
Right.
And doing the research, I knew giving up meat was a solution to it. But it took me hitting rock bottom. And all those 20 years, though, my biggest fear was I'd go to the doctor, and the doctor would tell me I can't eat meat anymore. And that seemed like such a big fear. And now my biggest fear would be I go to the doctor and they say, Mike, you don't have enough meat. You've got to start eating more meat. So you can totally change your mindset. So the thing that you think you can't go without, you can. And the thing, so a lot of these things are really easy, but you have to be coachable, you have to be open to it, you have to be receptive to it. Yep. So when I go tell somebody, oh, well, if you do this A, B, and C, you can fix your business. If they're not open to it because they have this mindset block, where they don't want to shift, they don't want to make a change, or they think something's suddenly going to change, or they're going to win the lottery, or something's going to happen external to them while they keep doing the same thing.
Right.
They're doomed, and I've watched people do that. We see that all the time. You've probably seen that with a lot of your filters. They don't.
Yeah.
They see these other people that are succeeding, but for whatever reason, they're like, no, that won't work for me.
Right. Well, because change sucks.
Change is hard.
None of us like change.
No.
But not changing sucks even worse.
Exactly.
Like the people ask, like, how can I do that? But they have to be ready to receive what you're telling them to do.
Right. And they also have to be realistic.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think it's going to happen overnight, and it's a building game. You got to take little steps to get to the next plateau. So taking a business and trying to make it from something that's bleeding a lot of money to something really successful, sometimes it's some minor tweaks.
Right.
But to try and get customers to show up into a pub where customers are not showing up, you got to start doing something different. And so what we did, this is going back a long time ago before you could just go to any Starbucks and have Wi-Fi. First thing I did was it was in downtown Calgary, which is Calgary's an oil city. There's lots of white-collar people in those office buildings with their laptops that would love to do work on their lunch hour. And me, I'm inseparable from my laptop. So the first thing we did is we added Wi-Fi. We put a big sign, free Wi-Fi, back in the days before you couldn't just find free Wi-Fi that easily. So we're all, not instantly, but over time, we grew a reputation as, if you want to do some work, go to this pub. There's Wi-Fi there. So that brought in started bringing lunch hour patrons. And then we brought in entertainment. So Thursday night we brought in this Latino band. I'm not Latino, nor was my business partner. But we became the hotspot for Latino music in Calgary on Thursday nights. And we would have brought in the same, and this band already had a following. So their people would come every Thursday night. They'd have a lineup out the door in a pub that used to be dead, just by doing that. So minor tweaks, but you have to get the reputation out there. It wasn't overnight. We didn't just put up the sign and the next day we were swamped.
So that's, that's restaurant strategy, but the same exact thing in building a real estate business.
Absolutely.
Is we want to,
minor tweaks.
How can I? It's like, how can I make my restaurant so that it's like explodes overnight? And so there's so much crap, and with Facebook marketing, I see all these self-styled real estate gurus coming out with all this, like, you can do the new strategy, and you don't have to talk to anybody, and you don't have to have any skills, and you don't have to work, and you don't have to do anything, and you can build your business. This is the way it happens in the 21st century. And I don't give a crap. That is not work. There's nobody out there working like that. You look at any of these real estate agents that have a business, and especially if they have a business, make a lot of money, and have a life, and you build it through, you create a reputation, you create the relationships. Relationships is the asset of the 21st century.
And that's the same thing. That's the same with the pub, with any business.
Yep.
Because, like I said, what we were selling was a commodity. Anybody could go anywhere and get the drink somewhere else. That's not. But when we started to bring in some staff, we built a team and brought in good staff and good people behind the bar. People are going there to build relationships with the other people in the pub, with your staff. And if you have an empty pub, nobody wants to be hanging out with you, the owner, running around, and you're stressed out because you don't have any money and no business. So it's all about building relationships and having the right people in the case of the pub, having the right staff, having the right ambiance, and having the right tools like the Wi-Fi to bring in the lunch crowd, bring in the business people. At night, have entertainment so people want to come in and hang out because all your other Latino friends are there.
Right.
On Saturdays, Fridays and Saturdays, we bring in other bands, we bring in comedians. We do whatever it took to get people to start showing up and enjoy the atmosphere. And now all of a sudden, our commodity was more valuable than the commodity at the pub down the street. So very, very minor tweaks. Some of the stuff I knew because as a business person, I knew what it would take to get the lunch crowd in. But I also brought in a partner who's an expert on pubs. I didn't have to teach him, and we actually made an agreement right from the start. I basically told him that I don't need this business to me, but I see that it's a really good opportunity. So I'm willing to put up all the money for this business if you're willing to do all the work. And he loves being in pubs. For me, I don't want to hang out in a pub all day. It's not my...
Only at night.
Only at night for a few hours, and I do not want to be behind the bar or in the kitchen. I want to be hanging out with the people. But we made this agreement right from the start that you're gonna go in there and you're gonna be the guy who's there that makes sure everything runs smooth. If somebody doesn't show up, do not call me because I'm not available to be a cook, bartender, or server. Not going to happen. But you won't ever have to take a dime out of your pocket to fund the pub.
Yep.
And for him, that was a great win because he loves working in pubs. That's his passion.
Yep.
It was a great win for me because I never had to do any work, but my money was working for me, which is my passion. And so it didn't take away any of my lifestyle, didn't take away any of his money, and we were both happy. We negotiated that before we got started, not after. So when you have the right people on your team, he made all the changes after that. He hired the bands, he brought in the talent, he did all the work to make it successful. I had a few ideas, like I said, but after that I just stepped away from it, let him do his magic, because that's his expertise. And we made it successful, sold it off a year and a half later for a lot more money than what we paid for it.
Right.
We both left very happy, still friends, and we would do another one. Whereas a lot of people, they get in and they don't have these conversations beforehand as to what the roles are, what the expectations are for the other people.
Yep.
They don't even have a plan. They just have this, like I said, that they have this idea that people are just going to show up because you buy the business because you happen to think it's a really cool business. Yeah, and they don't. So you got to have a plan, and that plan doesn't have to be because you're an expert in that industry, but get somebody who is. Get your mentor before you get started, or maybe even employ your mentor. Put them in place and let them live their passion.
Right. That's one of the biggest, the funniest thing about people who want to be successful is they want to be successful and then get a coach.
Yeah.
Like I'll hire a coach once I'm making money, and there's not any field in the world where that works. I'm gonna go learn how to drive a car, and then I'm gonna take driving lessons. As soon as I learn how to fly a plane, then I'll. It doesn't work in athletics. It doesn't work in sports, performing arts, and anything. And yet, people in business, they want to go they think YouTube, which is there's so much great information you get online, but they think that YouTube is all they need to do it. This like the do-it-yourself and the do-it-yourself mentality. It works great for building bird feeder, but when it comes to doing something that's going to actually help you build a life,
well, yeah, there's a lot of intangible things that you can't teach in a video that you have to learn from doing and practicing and having somebody push you to. Somebody's got to make you do your push-ups. Right. So you can watch somebody do push-ups, but that's not going to do you any good.
And you got to make mistakes. Because you're not going to learn. You watch somebody else do it perfectly. It's like, I think of snow skiing. I took when I was a sophomore in college, Abilene Christian University in Abilene, Texas. I took snow skiing 101, and I took snow skiing 201. Well, I'm in Texas. I'm in West Texas. There's no hills. There's no snow.
That's a small technicality.
So we had a whole semester of how to learn how to snow ski, and then the final exam was, or your final was for the Christmas break or the holiday break. We went to Red River, New Mexico, or Angel Fire. I don't remember where we went, but anyway, we went skiing to New Mexico, and there you went for 5 days, and you skied for 5 days, and all the stuff we learned before we read the book on how to ski. And then you get there, first time you put on skis, you're still falling down.
Of course.
You know, I mean,
exactly.
you can't learn how to do something that requires any skill without going through the mistakes, falling down and getting back up. Then coaching really helps.
Exactly. Well, to me, the role of a mentor is to teach people, one, how to do things properly, and two, show them where the landmines are, where if they'd done it themselves, where they would have messed up.
Right.
Because, as you mentioned, if I'm shooting a video on real estate, how to do something, how to invest properly, I'm teaching them all the good points. Here's what you do.
Right.
But there's a lot of places where people can totally screw up if they didn't know. So really the job is to show them, hey, here's the first time I did this, here's how I figured this out. Here's what happened to me the time before I did this this sort of transaction. Here's where I fell down, lost a lot of money, and here's how you avoid that. So you want to show people what to avoid as much as you want to show them how to do it properly, and also how you got to that point of doing it properly. Yep. What led to that? Where did you mess up?
Yep.
And trust me, man, I still have all the bruises from 27 years of being in the industry to prove it. But even after you learn how to do things properly, even know where the landmines are, there's always going to be something new that comes out of left field. But a mentor will minimize the pain, minimize the mistakes, and it's kind of a faster path to getting to where you want to get to. For sure.
Connect with you to find out more about what you do.
Yeah, well, your best bet is to go to my website, which is MikeWolfMastery.com. That's Wolf, just like the animal, no E, MikeWolfMastery.com. Or you can Google YouTube Mike Wolf Mastery. I got like 100 and something videos up.